Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Middle Archives. Since this coming Shabbos is the yahrzeit of the Rebbe's brother, Yisrael Al Yeleib ben Levi Yitzchok. So I gathered some about Yisrael Al Yeleib. Also, since he was a Talmid of my Zayde, so I thought I put down some points, like a short biography that I took from different places about Yisrael Al Yeleib. I don't know, many people don't even know that the Rebbe had a brother. So I thought, B'schus Yisrael Al Yeleib, I will just review a few of his sources about his biography. Rabbi Yisrael Al Yeleib was the third child of Rebbe Chana and Rebbe Levi Yitzchok. The Rebbe was the oldest, the second son was Berel, and the third son was Al Yeleib. He was named Yisrael Al Yeleib after his uncle, his mother's brother. And he was named after Rosh Yeshiva in Romanivka. Rabbi Yisrael Al Yeleib was born in Nikolaev. After moving to Yekaterinoslav, Leibel, together with his brothers, learned by my Zayde, Reb Shneur Zalman Vilenkin. And there were 6 Talmidim then. I think Reb Nochem, his name is. He was one of the Talmidim, Goldschmidt, and another one. They learned together in they used to say, as I once mentioned, that Rebbe Levi Yitzchok has nice mebel. Mebel means furniture. Mem is Mendel, the Rebbe's name. Beis is Berel, the second son, and Lamed is Leibel, that he has nice mebel, good children. Leibel was gifted with extraordinary talent. He was very sharp. This I wrote down from from people that I heard. I heard it from my father-in-law, many things, from Rabbi Dvorkin. He was a deep thinker, and he had amazing memory. From the age of 3, he would learn Mishnayos Baal Peh by heart. And his father once said on him that Rabbi Yitzchok has a head like the Tzemach Tzedek. Once, Reb Simcha Garadetsky, Olav HaSholem, he stayed in the house of Reb Leivik. This was the 9 days, and he saw that label Yisrael Al Yeleib was learning all night. He's trying to finish a Masechta, and he made to make a siyum. So one night the Rebbe Chana called him over and said to him, "I want to show you something. Come to my son's label. His name is label's room, Yisrael Al Yeleib's room, and look." They went into the room, and the Rebbe Chana called his name Label. He didn't answer. He was learning. Label, he didn't answer. A third time, label, he didn't answer. So she shook his sleeve, and he still didn't notice. That's how much he was engrossed. When he learned, he was very much engrossed in learning. Rebbetzin Chana said that the Rebbe and his brother Label used to learn many languages from reading dictionaries. She also said that in their house, Reb Levi Yitzchok would speak in words of Kabbalah. The Rebbe spoke in words of Chasidus, and Label spoke words of philosophy, Chakira, and they all understood each other. In 1924, they went to live in Leningrad, and he was very dear by the Frierdiker Rebbe, who moved later into Leningrad, and he would eat by the Frierdiker Rebbe on the table in his house. The Frierdiker Rebbe writes, this is Purim Tov Reish Pei Zayin, 1927. The Frierdiker Rebbe turned to the Rebbe, to our Rebbe, and label was there, and he said to them in Yiddish, "A groise rachmanis auf eich bichlal." It's a big pity on you, und auf dir befragt, was hat nicht gekannt am Taten. And it's a big pity that you didn't know the Father. That means that the Rebbe, if the Rebbe would have known the Father, the Rebbe Rashab, then he would I don't know, it would be different. So he said that he should have seen the Rebbe Rashab. Once when he was on Yechidus, and he asked the Frierdiker Rebbe a question. This was labeled question Chassidus, and the Rebbe did not answer, and he says, "This is not shaykh to dir. It's not important to you. You don't have to know it. It's not for you." So when Label went out of Yechidus, he was very broken, and he was crying that the Rebbe did not answer him his question. After some time, he went again to Yechidus, and the Rebbe explained, and he told the Rebbe he wants to know. So the Rebbe explained that in order to be a receiver, a makabel from the Rebbe, one has to be a vessel, a keli. So only after you're broken and after you cried, now you can get the answer. It's because now you're a keli to receive this answer. It's very, very interesting. Reb Moshe Dubinsky once said that he knew the label very well. So after the Rebbe said a Maimer, the Chassidim used to sit down and farbring, and they asked Label to farbring. So the Label was unable. So he says, "I have to go to a shir. I have a shir kavua and Gemara Teisvis, and I have a large crowd coming, so I can't stay at the shir." After the shir, he went right away and he went to the farbring. There was still farbringing, and he spoke to Chassidim. Now, so the Label says that Chassidim have so much chokhmah and bina, but what is missing is das, the iskashrus and the feeling to Chassidus. So when Rabbi Label spoke, even great Chassidim, then they had a lot of derech eretz for Label. In 1930, he escaped Soviet Union and he settled in Berlin, where his brother, the Rebbe, also was there at that time. In 1933, he was unable to remain in Berlin, and he decided to move to Eretz Yisrael. But he needed documents, and he had to get them from the government of Berlin. And it was extremely dangerous then for a Jew to go to the government at that time. The Nazis were already in power. Nevertheless, the Rebbe, our Rebbe, who had already moved to Paris to escape the Nazis, took upon himself to arrange all the documents for his brother to go to Eretz Yisrael. However, the Rebbe's wife, the Rebbetzin, Chaya Mushke, would not let her husband endanger himself by going to Germany, because the Rebbe looked like a Jew, and the Rebbe had a beard, and she didn't want to let him go. So she decided that she would go herself to Berlin and arrange all documents for her brother-in-law for Label. And that's what she did, and thank her that Label went to Eretz Yisrael. Now, while the Rebbetzin was arranging the papers, she also answered some questions. They asked her some questions about her identification. The Nazis were quite surprised when they asked her, "What is your name?" So she answered, "My name is Schneerson." "What is your maiden name?" "My maiden name is Schneerson." "What's your mother's maiden name?" Schneerson. "What's your father's mother's maiden name?" Schneerson. They thought there was something wrong going on, and told her that soon they will come to Paris and they will investigate her and her husband. Baruch Hashem, the Rebbe and the Rebbetzin escaped Paris just days ahead before the Nazis came to Paris. In 1934, Label settled in Tel Aviv and worked for a local library. And in 1939, Label married his wife. She was named Genya. And while living in Tel Aviv, he was very close to Chassidim, and he would learn with Menachem Goldschmied, with Moshe Dubinsky. He would learn Pasha deep Chassidus. When the Rebbe arrived in America in 1941, the Rebbe would correspond with Label and always send him late publications. He sent him the Hayom Yom, and he even sent him Yom L'Yom, from day to day for children, the ones that we once gave out. These. This is Yom L'Yom for children. And and he used to go around and he said that my brother sent me this chibur. Another occasion, Label said that I never, looking at all the things that the Rebbe sent him, that I never knew what a good cup, or but if Hazevite, he has a good head, but as much as that he didn't believe. In 1950, he moved to England, and Rabbi Label passed away on Yud Gimel year. He suffered a heart attack. Now, let me finish this off. In 1952, when he suffered a heart attack, he was hospitalized and passed away a few days later. Yud Gimel Iyar. Upon the Rebbe's instructions, with effort that the Rebbe said they should move him to Eretz, bury him in Eretz Yisrael, and he's buried in the Chabad cemetery. This was in Tzfas. The Beryl Unique, Olav Hasholim, said, on the morning of Yud Gimel Iyar, I was called to the Rebbe's house on New York Avenue. And the Rebbe was already in 770, and he was called by the Rebbetzin. And the Rebbetzin told the Beryl Unique that her brother-in-law is very ill, means Label. And she does not know how her mother-in-law, the Rebbetzin Chane, will able to handle this. So after thinking some time, she asked Beryl Unique, please call Rabbi Levitin, I want to talk to Rabbi Shmuel Levitin. Rabbi Shmuel Levitin came right away and spoke to the Rebbetzin for about half an hour. Afterwards, she told Beryl the truth, that Rabbi Label had passed away. Rabbi Shmuel went to 770 and he told the Rebbe, and Girisin Kriya with the Rebbe, and the Rebbe wanted to ensure that his mother, the Rebbe Tzachane, would not find out, and she never found out, about the passing of her son. So the Rebbe said Shiva in 770, only had 1 minyan, a minyan, not more, because he didn't want people to know. And after the Shiva, Rabbi Chadakov davened for the Omid, and then Rabbi Zalman Duchman davened for the Omid. The Rebbe used to visit his mother every single day during Shiva, as well as the Rebbe went to his mother all the time. and to prevent even by Shiva, and to prevent that she shouldn't find out that her brother passed away, the Rebbe painted his shoes black because he wore his Shiva shoes, so she shouldn't tell. So he painted that she shouldn't be able to see that he wore that he's sitting Shiva. The Rebbe would also censor all his mother's mail to ensure that she would not receive any nichum avelim letters. Her daughter-in-law, that means Label's wife, and the grandchildren would send letters to Label, and one time the Rebbe even wrote himself because the Rebbe didn't want that she should, and he knew Label's handwriting, that his mother should know she passed away. Before Yontif, Label used to send telegrams to his mother, so the Rebbe told Beryl Unique to arrange a telegram. He had no idea how to produce one, but the Rebbe Tzachaya Mushke told him to just go to Merkez and get any telegram that came on that day, and she will already know what to do. He got a telegram, and the Rebbetzin heated up some water, and with the steam they erased the letters. Then they gave it to Rabbi Sholem Mendel Simpson, Olav Hasholim, who wrote a telegram from Label. And Beryl gave it to the Rebbetzin, and this continued for all the Yom Tevim. And this is, I wanted to mention about this. The Yortzeit is the Shabbos, so the Neshamas are Hom and Aliyah. And in Mitzvah Hashem, next week, I will share with you a special letter, handwritten letter, that the Rebbe Tzachaya Mushke wrote that I just found. Next week we'll continue our weekly program. Thank you.